The war was not going well. The Zurin were advancing faster than the Alliance's expectations. 7 systems lost in the last 3 weeks, and now, Captain T-Log's cruiser, the Stellar Avenger, had been cut off from the main force and had been engaged in a running battle for days. Ammunition for the mass cannons had run dry a week ago, and the fuel for the combat engines keeping the battle lasers firing was running dangerously low. One more engagement, and the ship would have nothing to use but angry words and hateful glares. The only advantage that the Alliance had was that their FTO was leagues beyond the Zurin. Not that it had helped when the Zurin launched an EMP attack and damaged the nav computers and long-range comms. The captain had been forced to perform an unguided jump. Under such conditions, the ship could only jump one system at a time for safety. "Captain!" came the rasping voice of the chief engineer. "We've got it. Nav is back online, and the communication relay has been replaced." T-Log breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank the gods. Establish communications with the fleet as soon as possible." "Already on it, sir," barked out a junior officer. "I'm getting a repeating message with Admiral Croyn's ID code, his coordinates, sir." "That has to be a rendezvous location. Fire up the FTL and make for that location." "Aye, sir." The repaired nav computer made quick work of the 50 light-year jump, and soon T-Log observed a sight both relieving and distressing. The fleet, or what was left of it, was in bad shape. Even the Admiral's flagship had not emerged unscathed, with a large gouge out of the port side, and one of the starboard nacelles missing entirely. Other vessels were warping in from wherever they had run, after the EMP crippled the fleet. "Incoming message, sir." "Connect it." A screen popped up before the captain, and the slightly graining image of the Admiral had T-Log jumping to action. "Sit, T-Log, please. No need for ceremony. I'm glad to see you. The Avenger is one of only 3 cruisers that has arrived so far." T-Log's 2 hearts skipped a beat. They had launched with 12. "Condition of the rest of the fleet, sir," he requested. "Bad. 37 ships too crippled to fight, 25 ships with 0 ammunition, and 4 ships dead in space. They ran out of fuel getting here, and there is still more than half of the fleet unaccounted for." The sheer numbers staggered the captain. "Orders, sir? We still have some juice for our lasers." "Good to know. Take point with the Vanguard, Captain. Orders from HQ are to stand by here for reinforcement and resupply." "Out here, sir? The nearest friendly starbase is at least 20 systems away." "Those are your orders, Captain. Guard the fleet." "Aye, Admiral." The screen popped out of existence as the captain ordered his ship into position to lead the few ships capable of protecting the crippled fleet. 2 hours later. "Captain, new signal transiting out of warp. It's big, sir." "How big?" "Over 100 million tons, sir." That made the entire bridge shudder. The flagship of the fleet was only 10 million tons. "Target the enemy." A futile gesture, to be sure, but by the gods, T-Log would not go down without a fight. "Hold fire, sir. I have a friendly IFF ping." "Impossible. The Alliance doesn't have a ship that size." "The ship registration says the vessel is human, sir." "Humans?" exclaimed T-Log's second-in-command. "What are they doing here? The nearest human outpost is 300 light-years away." "That's what the register says, sir." "The humans aren't even part of the Alliance," the second-in-command whined. "But they are not our enemies either, number 2. I will not reject helping them at the source." "But, sir, in the last war they outnumbered and outgunned us. Do not test my knowledge of history, number 2. The humans defeated us in a mere 3 months, but they were also honourable. Any ship that surrendered was towed to a repair station, and the crew were kept in very reasonable confinement until negotiations for peace were made, and all prisoners were released without exception." "I doubt you would receive such a deal from the Zurin." The second-in-command wisely shut his mouth. Suddenly, a cry came out from the communications officer. "Sir, incoming message from the human ship." "Patch it to the main screen." The display screen before the bridge showed a moment of static, before a human with long hair appeared, showing off many of his teeth. "Hello, and thank you for using Alpha Centauri Logistics Services. My name is Heather. How can I help you today?" the human declared in a bright and happy voice, never losing her smile. The bridge crew was caught off guard by the cheerful greeting. Even T-Log was taken aback for a moment before his mind grasped onto a word that made sense in this situation. "Logistics? So you're here to resupply us?" "That is correct, sir." Now the absurd size of the ship made sense. "Well, in that case, we are in need of ammunition." "Let's see," the humans said, while ticking away on their keyboard. An Alliance Avenger-class cruiser, full complement of 20,000 200mm rounds for the main rail guns, and 300,000 rounds for the mass driver point defense guns. I can have those fabricated and sent out to you in 10 minutes. Will you be needing any fuel cells for your laser banks? Yes please. Done. Would you like a top-off for your engines? Number 2, inquired the captain. Fuel rods are down to 10%, sir. A full replacement for our fuel rods, please. Alright, 12 deuterium fuel rods. I can see your ship is a little banged up. Would you like me to add a nanotechnician to your order? A nanotechnician? Yes, sir. A fully qualified repair tech equipped with the very latest in nanomachines. Repairs guaranteed as good as any dry dock. That would be most appreciated. Of course, sir. Would you like anything else? The Alliance purchased ACL Premium, so the entirety of our goods and services are at your disposal. What do you offer? The human beamed brighter than ever. We pride ourselves on providing just about anything a spacefaring sailor could ever need or want. Our medical services offer everything from simple sterile bandages to galactic certified physicians and specialists. We offer a wide variety of home goods, office supplies, and clothing tailored to any specification. And you must try our grocery selection. Our replicators can produce roughly 90% of foodstuffs from all across the galaxy. T-Loc's head was spinning. These humans were a gift from the gods. That last service had him practically salivating. The crew had been on rations of nutrient paste for a week. Fresh meat, fruits, and vegetables would do wonders for crew morale. Please give us a moment, T-Loc said to the human. She nodded with that ever-present smile on her face. Number 2, get all department heads and the ship's cook up here with list of needed supplies in 10 minutes. Yes, sir, came an eager reply. An hour later, and T-Loc was happier than he'd been in months. An entire fleet of cargo drones was streaming back and forth from the human ship and the stricken fleet. The cloud of combat-capable ships surrounding the Avenger and the Vanguard was growing steadily. The human Heather had asked only once for the captain to bring his cruiser closer to the supply ship to facilitate a quicker transaction. He had politely refused. Orders were orders after all, and the human, gods bless her hairy head, had only nodded and not pressed the issue. The ship's cook had whipped up a simple yet delicious meal of par noodles with meat sauce, roll-from beans, and a whole fruit for each crew member. The humans even had plurb juice, a favourite of the crew. With full bellies, the crew went about stirring the fresh supplies with renewed vigour. Some were even singing songs of victory as they went about their duties. T-Loc stood happily upon the bridge, enjoying the almost tangible sense of joy aboard his ship as he bit into a fresh tangy fruit. By every good thing in the verse, those human food synthesizers were good. The tangy tasted just as good as the last time he had eaten one, back before he joined the academy. T-Loc finished his fruit and turned his attention back to his monitors. His crew had feasted, and now it was time for his ship to, metaphorically, do the same. Emergency generators had been brought online, so the main engines could be shut down to replace the fuel rods. It was a dangerous time for his ship, as the generators were only rated to power life support and basic navigation. Naturally, that's when everything went to pot. Sir, multiple signals warping in. Is the Zurin? T-Loc punched a button on his command chair. All hands to your posts. Battle stations. Excuse me? Number 2, tell engineering to hurry up with the refueling. We need main power back online now. Captain T-Loc. Yes, sir, the second-in-command said, as he relayed the message to the chief engineer. Captain! T-Loc finally noticed that the human Heather had been calling out to him. Ma'am, you don't have to worry. We will protect you from the Zurin. I'm flattered, sir, but you misunderstand. As a customer of the Alpha Centauri Logistics Company, you are under our protection until our business is finished. Our captain is attempting to communicate with the Zurin ships, but it seems they're not in a talking mood. T-Loc did a double take. You are going to protect us? Yes, sir. Under the laws of the Terran Federation, every business from a simple farmer to a transplanetary corporation has the right to defend its livelihood. At ACL, we pride ourselves on our customer service, so our customers, in this case your fleet, enjoy protection under that law. Sir, whispered T-Loc second, are we in Federation space? It slipped my mind to check. After days of running nearly blind, it's possible we wandered into human territory, T-Loc admitted. Oh dear, the human sighed, never losing that smile. It looks like things are going to get violent soon. I do detest violence. What do you mean? Asked T-Loc. Would you like to listen in? At T-Loc's nod, the human hit a key, and a deeper voice came through the speaker. If you continue with your aggressive actions, we will be forced to defend ourselves. This is your final warning. An act of violence against our vessel or our customers will be seen as an act of war by the Terran Federation. If you insist upon following this path to its conclusion, then may God have mercy upon your souls." "Sir, incoming missiles." "Emergency power to shields," T-Lock barked. "That won't be necessary, Captain," interrupted the human Heather. A blossom of light from the main view screen drew T-Lock's attention, and the sight he saw defied all his expectations. One of the missiles headed for his own ship had detonated far too soon to do any damage. It did not take long to see why. The thousands of drones ferrying goods back and forth had all stopped what they were doing, left their cargo floating in the void, and swarmed to the space between the Vanguard and the approaching Zurin. A metal rod that T-Lock had thought was an antenna revealed itself to be the barrel of a mass driver, as the fleet of drones opened fire on the incoming missiles. Of the hundreds of projectiles heading towards the fleet, not one remained. The drones had shot them all down, and one drone had even sacrificed itself to take out another torpedo. The human ship's captain came through the speakers again. "Your hostile actions have been noted. Please be advised that by attempting to interfere with our business transaction, you have assumed all costs and damages for it. A bill will be sent to your home world. The Federation authorities have been notified. Federation warships will be arriving shortly. Whatever is left of your fleet after they're done will be salvaged and rendered down into usable materials. Any value from this will be credited to your bill. Some free advice, one sailor to another. Turn around, run now, and you may live to see another day." The Zurin did not heed the advice from the human captain, and instead fired another volley of missiles and torpedoes. This attack was even less successful than the first, as the drones were ready for it now. "Oh, why are these military types so hard-headed?" asked the human Heather. "Can't they see there's no profit in this?" After a third volley was defeated, new ships started to warp into the system. 24 cruisers twice the size of the Stellar Avenger, scores of corvettes and frigates, a dreadnought even bigger than the human supply ship, and 2 carriers that started disgorging hundreds of fighters as soon as they entered the system. The slaughter, for it could hardly be called a battle, was over in minutes. "Thanks for the assist, fellas. You get the standard 50% discount in exchange for letting us scrap the remains." "Best deal we ever made. Far cheaper to scrap material than to buy it from the mining company," the human Heather remarked, as she turned back to her horrified T-Lock. "Well, your alliance just got the discount of a lifetime. Terran business laws are very strict, and now the Zurin have incurred the cost of our transaction here. So, will there be anything else?" she asked with a smile.